Yo, what's good YouTube? In today's video, I'm gonna give you guys the new top 5 meta assault rifle loadouts you should be using. So if you enjoyed this video, let's break 200 likes, subscribe, notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first assault rifle here today, we're gonna be getting into the Model L. This is still a really viable AR you guys can use. It's got a great damage range, great profile, very low recoil. Overall, you can use this kind of however you want, and it's gonna be great. So let's hop in here and build you guys the most effective way to use this thing. So first thing, the optics section, kind of like with pretty much every single AR in this game, you can run almost whatever optic you want. There's really not going to be something that's going to totally screw you up unless you start going past basically a 4 or 5x scope. You probably should really stick to anything from a 3x and below. And at that point, whatever you choose is going to be perfectly acceptable. So if you want to go for a Kepler Microflex, that's perfectly okay if that's something you want to go for. You want to go for something like the Volzinski reflex, that's one thing that I really like running, especially on my Cypher right now, so I like doing that. Or you can go down here, run the Kepler red dot, Otero red dot, basically both the same thing. They just look kind of a little bit different. And then down here, the Jason Armory 2x and the Willis 3 times are going to be great. Also, they do give you recoil gun kick benefits, the 2 and 3x here. After the 3x, like I said, you probably don't want to go any more past this point. They're not really going to be beneficial. The 3x is essentially your maximum point, where if someone's too small to see with that 3 times scope, they're probably out of your range and you don't need to be taking that gunfight. So we're gonna go for the 3x actually on the Model L, as this is really solid and this is a great long range gun. Muscle section, we're going here, throw on the compensator. This can help us out their overall vertical recoil control. Really like this. You're probably gonna be running this on a lot of ARs. It's not like you're running a suppressor on really anything. The game's just not built like that right now. They don't have the patch updates or whatever in place. It's not like it gives you recoil benefits. If that was the case, everyone would be running a suppressor and not a compensator, but we don't get anything besides staying off the radar, so we're just going to be running the comp. Barrel section, we can take a look at this as long as it actually it does not want to show it, so we're just going to go and select one of them and go back in here. So the gain twist barrel, this actually does give us obviously we have that base 47 meters of effective damage range, which is really nice, and our bullet velocity is 1160 meters per second. You can see our damage profile here on the chart is really solid. So overall, the gain twist is going to be your best barrel to run on this gun. The only one I can see you guys changing something out for is maybe the reinforced barrel if you want to have that STG like look, because I had that was it the Prestige 1 variant on my Model L, and of course this is a camo swap gun for you guys that are wondering. So this gets you out to 54 meters and actually puts you straight up at 1000 meters per second, but overall I don't really think you need any of that extra damage range. I think the gain twist is still going to be fine. You're really not going to notice much of a difference. You'd rather have probably the extra bullet velocity than a little bit extra damage range. It's just going to feel great pretty much either which way, but I'd say the gain twist is going to be better. Under barrel section, we're just going to throw on that vertical foregrip here. Pretty standard. You guys don't need to switch this out for really anything else. Go ahead and throw on the vertical. And lastly, in the magazine section, we're throwing on extended mag 2, which gets us 50 rounds in the mag. It does exactly what it's supposed to, getting us that extra amount of ammo we want. Anything out past 45-50 rounds for an AR is great, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this on there, and that is gonna be my full Model L build. Thanks to U4GM for sponsoring this video. They're a professional Black Ops 6 service provider that specializes in cheap gift packs up to 50% off. They also specialize in easy camo unlocks and max level, along with bot lobbies, and you can even use code CHUCK at checkout for 5% off. Next up, we're going to be taking a look here at the Ames 85 or Ames 85, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't know. There's different ways to pronounce guns in this game, like Superi, Superi. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. But basically, this is kind of relatively around the same thing here for the optics section. Like I said, like you can pretty much choose whatever you want to run. This gun in particular, just because the way it feels, it is actually pretty solid to run with a lower optic, whereas the Model L, I'd probably say, like, that's why I chose the 3X, because it is going to be better for those long distances. This is definitely more of that aggressive AR that you can really run around with, just because it has that high fire rate. It's going to have a pretty solid damage profile, so you guys aren't really going to have to worry about too much. So pretty much my choice would probably be this Volzinski reflex. This has been like my go-to recently. I really like it. It almost feels like it helps the recoil, but it doesn't technically say that in the pros. So go ahead and throw that bad boy on there, or you can go down here, and my other choice would probably be down to the Jason Armory 2X or even the Willis 3 times. Those are going to be like my top 3 sights. I've kind of moved away from the Kepler red dot here and the Otero to basically just using the Volzinski or the Jason Armory or the Willis 3 times. Like I said, it's not going to make or break your build unless you start going past this down here. And at that point, you're going to start screwing yourself up. But pretty much these, you're going to be fine. So for this build, just because it's going to be very, aggressive, we're going to take the Volzinski. Muzzle section, we're gonna throw in the compensator here once again. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us the 3 sort of green arrows for vertical recoil control. that's perfectly fine, but none of these other ones in here are going to be good. I do have people that ask me, why would you not use muzzle brake or the porta compensator? And the thing is, it's just like, when you take a look at them objectively, you know, this helps your vertical recoil control and then your first shot recoil control. Well, this doesn't have a crazy first shot kick, and we only get that, you know, double green arrow for the vertical recoil control, which this does give us basically about the same thing, if not just a little bit more. And the muzzle brake, this helps your kick reset and your first shot recoil, but that's really only going to be beneficial on like something, for instance, like a goblin or a semi-automatic gun you're going to be spamming. At that point, the muzzle brake would be beneficial, but the compensator for every other fully automatic gun is going to be the way to go. Barrel section, this is pretty much like the same thing as the Model L. We can run the gain twist barrel. You can see your damage at effective range is already, you know, kind of by default 50.8 meters, as this only affects our bullet velocity. So we're pushing ourselves out to basically 1100 meters per second, same range the Model L has. I think it has basically, I mean, this is relatively around the same statistics as the Model L. I think just the damage profile is a little bit lower, but of course the fire rate is higher, so it kind of evens out in that regard. So different strokes for different folks. You can use a gun that feels more comfortable to you, but overall the gain twist is going to be the way to go. Under barrel section, of course, vertical foregrip here as per usual. And then the magazine, we go down and throw on extended mag 2, which just gives us 60 rounds in the mag. I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy, so I always go for that 60. For those of you guys who have been around the channel for a while, you know I've been saying that for a fat minute. So this is gonna be my full Amy's 85 build. Next up, we're gonna be taking a look here at the GPR 91. This is a really solid AR. I don't see getting a lot of love. It's actually still really solid. So I'm gonna give you guys here the best build for it. So for this, I'm actually gonna suggest we don't go and use a red dot sight, just because this thing has that weird visual, like, you know, jitter back and forth when you use a lower zoom optic. For whatever reason, it likes to jiggle around, and when you go down here to like the 3 times and the 2 times, it doesn't really do that as much. So I'd say if you're going to be running this thing, go ahead and slap the 3 times on there, the 2 times on there, take it into the firing range, and you'll notice that the jitter on it is a lot better than if you were to run something like that Wilczynski reflex. I don't like to run that as much anymore. I've tested it back and forth, and I definitely will say that Willis is probably the better way to go. Muzzle section, we're gonna throw on that compensator here. This gives us the nice little 3 green arrows and 3, you know, for the vertical recoil control, which is really awesome. This is gonna be basically a 0 recoil AR. A lot of these have almost none. I do get comments sometimes where people are like, oh, he's got a Cronus or something like that. It's like, dog, have you used any of these guns before? Like, you gotta maybe pull down on the stick ever so slightly, and that's gonna control the recoil. Some people, I swear to God, they just hit the fire button and they don't do anything with their thumb. So I don't know what they're doing, but anyways, now we can take a look here at this. This is not going to be one of those guns where we'll be running the gain twist barrel. We're actually going to go for the reinforced. As you can see, the gain twist, our base damage at effective range is pretty pitiful, so we need to extend that out, and so we're going to get out to 44.2 meters, which is going to be still slightly lower than the other guns, and same with the bullet velocity. So it's not going to be like your top meta AR, but if you guys like using the GPR, it's still going to be very effective as long as you can hit your shots. That's why I said, like, you know, different strokes, different folks. If you feel more comfortable with this gun, it's not like you're at a severe disadvantage using this versus something else. So go ahead and slap that on there. Under barrel here, vertical foregrip, and then of course the magazine section, we go for extended mag 2. Gets us 60 rounds in the mag, so pretty self-explanatory. Hope you guys enjoyed this GPR build. Next up, I want to throw you guys for a bit of a loop with this one. We're going to be using the AS Val. So the AS Val is not going to be used as a true AR. You're going to be using this as sniper support. It's going to be great for close range, medium range. I actually ran this along with like a Car 98K, had a great amount of success with it. So I think you guys will really enjoy this. It's going to be seriously manageable to use. Going to have a bit of that recoil, of course, is the AS Val, but when you're using it at the desired ranges, you will be perfectly fine. So skipping the optic, the iron sights are great. We don't need one of those. Barrel section, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here and we're just gonna use the suppressed gain twist barrel. As we can see, our damage and effective range is already 48.3 meters. You can put that out to 1185. That's going to be super awesome. You could go down here for the, the suppressed reinforced barrel, and this is still probably going to be super effective as well, but you're not going to be taking shots at 62.7 meters with this thing, but you still could. So between the reinforced and the gain twist, try it out and see what works best for you. I just ran this because I was using this primarily for close to at maximum medium range, and anything else outside of that, I was using the Car 98K, or you could run this, technically speaking, with another AR. You just have to build this out a little bit differently if you want it to be for super close range. So go ahead and slap either of these on here, the reinforced or the gain twist, and you'll be fine. Under barrel section, this is where it comes down to a little bit personal preference here. So vertical foregrip is going to help you more with stabilizing this thing. So let's say you want to have this be more of that medium range, then you're going to go throw on the vertical foregrip. If you're using this for more close range, go throw on the Ranger foregrip. So for instance, let's say I'm using this for more medium range, I'll throw on the Ranger, I'll go back here and I'll throw on the reinforced. You can do that combo, or if you're doing this for more close range, go down here and we're going to use the Ranger foregrip. And that'll be the suppress gain twist, the Ranger. Now we can move on to the magazine. We're going to go down here and throw an extended mag 2, not extended mag 3. We can see that we get some more cons down here with extended mag 3. It is cool to have 55 rounds in the mag, but keep in mind, it only goes from 50 to 55. It's not 50 to 60, it's 50 to 55. So we don't really care about that much. I ran the extended mag 2 on this. I found it to be great. 50 rounds is still definitely, more than enough. And we can actually see here, our fire rate's 896 rounds per minute, which is, quite fast. We're not going to need the extra 5 rounds in the mag. It's not going to be that dire. Also, the reload speed is pretty quick with this. So go ahead and run extended mag 2. You don't need extended mag 3. It will slow you down, especially if you're running this, how this build is made for close to medium range. We don't need to slow ourselves down more, as this is an AR trying to compete at close to medium with an SMG-ish, course. Now rear grip section, we're gonna go throw on that ergonomic grip. Like I said, this is gonna be more geared towards that close range. So slide to fire, dive to fire, aim down sight speed. This will really help you out in those close quarters engagements, as this is still technically an AR, not an SMG. So we have to, of course, make it a little bit more like that. And lastly, in the stock section, what I went ahead and did is I found the best success is with the balanced stock. This right here is absolutely incredible. I will tell you guys this right now, this build truly surprised me when I was using it, how effective and fun it was. So you're gonna have a lot of fun using this thing. So go ahead and try this thing out right here. This is a great AS-Val build. And last but definitely not least, it's, well, technically the #1 AR overall. I just didn't want to put it up front since everyone is probably using this cipher, but I'm gonna have to include it because, it's the best they are. So we're gonna get in here, and the optics section, you can run literally whatever you want here. Basically anything from a 3 times down, does not matter. My go-to right now is this. I absolutely love this sight. I've been running this, especially on Rebirth Area 99. That's my bread and butter. I be running this and it is great. So you can do that. You can run the Kepler Microflex. It does not matter. Choose whatever works for you. Go ahead and have fun with it. Muzzle section, a bit different though. We need that compensator. So you guys should definitely go ahead and run the compensator. Barrel section, this is one of those guns where you want to run that gain twist. You can see your damage at effective range is 45.7, which is obviously, you look at it, you're like, whoa, okay, so the Model L's got better range. Of course, the AMX 85 has a bit better range. Well, this right here, the damage distribution on it is a little bit higher than those other guns, and it hits a bit harder. And of course, this is awesome. So we're going to select this real fast so it actually does show us the benefit. Our bullet velocity went from 800 to 1134, and it hits really hard. There's a reason this is the #1 meta AR overall. It's just because it hits really hard, great bullet velocity, very low recoil. Like, you can really absolutely beam with it, and it's gonna be very low recoil as is, but keep in mind, if you throw in like that 2 or 3 times, you're gonna have even less recoil than running it with a red dot sight. So we're gonna slap that on there. Underbarrel section here, vertical foregrip, no reason to run the Ranger. The only exception to that was the AS-Val because of how we built it out. And the AS-Val it's pitiful at long range. It truly is. You don't want to use it like that. And lastly, magazine, we're gonna go throw on extended mag 2, and this is gonna round out our build here for the Cypher 91. This is an incredible AR, #1 meta AR overall. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.